Hi, folks. Welcome to another 10 Talk. I'm excited today. Craig Lee is a science high school teacher at Bloomington High School in Bloomington, Illinois, and he's joining us today. He's going to talk about a lot of good remote engagement strategies, 4 specific ones that are a little different than the ones you may typically be using. And I'm kind of excited to see, especially how he's using them. He's going to share those with all of us. My name's Nancy Latham. I'm from the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. And so, Craig, excited to hear about some of these cool tools you're using.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So I kind of broke things down into 2 different kinds of ways in which I engage the students. The first way is as soon as they arrive at class. If you want the students to be involved and to be excited to be at class, you need to get them going as soon as they get there. So we always start with a check-in. And so they have this link that is the check-in form. And it started off as just a way to make sure I got attendance right, because I was really good in class of like remembering where people were sitting, and afterwards I could quick like, oh yeah, that Billy wasn't here and Susie was sitting there, so I know that they were here. But it was really hard remote because I was seeing mostly just their names and black screens, and so I started with this so they could tell me they were here. But I basically just sort of run through this and have them. I would include the Zoom meeting link. I took that off of here, but I don't want anybody randomly trying to get into my class. They go through, they tell me their name, which class period they're in. This is for one particular class, my AP Environmental Science class. And they were, how did you sleep? How was your breakfast? How are things outside of class? And then anything I need to know. So some people will put nothing every time. Some kids have told me like, we just had to put my dog down, and I'm not doing great for that, or I'm feeling really sick, or I got into the school I wanted to get into, or stuff like that. So I get all kinds of things in there, and I try to follow up with them. When they put something in there that was interesting, just send them a little note to show them I was paying attention. I really did read that. And then I usually give them a question of the day. That is, often we will go around the room and like say what that was. So sometimes it's just quick answers, but just to get them talking, so that one time, at least during class, I heard their voice, they participated. I think it makes it easier for them later to participate if they at least at one time had like unmuted themselves and said something. But if it's a rush day, it'll be something else. And it's usually something that has nothing to do with the class. I started thinking that maybe I would make it something with the class, but I ended up not having it worth anything for the class. It's not what did we do last time kind of thing. It's just like something random. And I have a little chart that I made up. I went up and I just searched would you rather questions or other kind of opening conversation questions. And so I just picked these. Would you rather use a fork or spoon for the rest of your life? Or what's your favorite board game? Or I have a whole bunch of would you rathers down here. Would you rather all birds when they attack you when they see you are all dogs? And so they just kind of give a quick answer and quick something for the beginning of class. Or if it's something more intense, they just type it into the question of the day. Like today, we only had 45-minute classes rather than the hour classes we have on other days. So today they just typed in their answer and we just moved on with it. But they still got a chance to like ask a question and be thinking and participate. So that's the first way. I try to get them talking through that if I can, right in the beginning. And they often lead to really fun, like, back and forth, kind of questions. So that's the first thing I try to do right away when they start class. While they're in class, and remote is really difficult to get kids to be on board. And this one can kind of be another thing that we do at the beginning of class too. But I use Classcraft. And if you've never seen Classcraft before, I could do I could do 20 minutes on Classcraft. Anyway, there's lots of ways that this can be great. The first way at the beginning of class is they have random events. So you would this is one I made up for another teaching session I did one day, but there are these tools. This was a President's Day thing. So there was presidents. Of course, my browser's going to be slow today. But there are random events. So you can get the kids going, and it really is random. So it might be on this time, everybody has to research a joke. Give me a dad joke, or give me, who has the best joke today, or make the teacher sing a song. Like somebody gets to pick what song I have to sing, or You know, we've had like random like little competitions, things like that. So there's a lot of fun things in there. And again, it just gets them participating. It's something that has nothing to do with school and gets them like interested in what we're doing. One of the other tools though is a random student generator. So when we are doing things in class that is content, I can ask them to, you know, to answer questions based on, you know, just somebody random. It's not me picking on someone. It's, you know, it's that popsicle stick in the cup kind of thing, except it's these, the Wheel of Destiny, which I think is a great name for it. And so I just pick a player and they would, you know, this time it's Abe Lincoln, and I'd say, oh, Abe, you know, you get the question today. What's the question? And then he can get experience points and get health points taken away if he, you know, answers incorrectly. If you'd want to do that, I don't take health away if they don't answer correctly, but you can give them, you know, experience points. And when you click on this, you can see like all the different experience points that they could get. But I'd probably put in something like, you know, helping another student with their work because they answered a question correct. So anyway, so Classcraft's great. It's random student generators, it's random events, it's fun things to like get them interested, and they all play a character, and so they get this chance to be somebody else in class, and they can, I'll give them a quiz high score here. They can get, you know, new equipment by getting gold pieces and getting experience points. They level up. So it's kind of a way to put a game inside of your class, like at all times. And I love games, so we should all be playing more games. So this is a great way to bring it.
Is that free?
What's that?
Is that free?
There is a free version of it. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't have gold pieces if you do the free version, and I don't think you can buy equipment, but yeah. And they also have quests, which I think are awesome, and that's a whole other thing. But they students you can lay out all of your lessons, and they can go through those lessons and get experience points and turn things in. You can turn it into a story, and they have a map. If this will load, and I can show you that. So there's a whole big map, and you lay it out over the map, and have these different stops, and it all links to Google Classroom too, which is really nice. All I have to do is click, I want to do this assignment from Google Classroom, and it all links to it. And they just have a learning path that they go through. And there's all kinds of different, you know, things that do learning paths, but this is one that you can do a learning path and make it connect with all of the other things that you're doing in your class as well. So I highly recommend Classcraft. It's definitely a great way to keep kids engaged. So, so once you've got kids engaged, they're in school, they're, you know, now you've warmed up and you're ready to go. How do you keep them participating? You know, instead of we're giving notes, we're all online. How do we keep them participating? And so the one way I like to do it is by using sort of graphic organizer kind of notes, rather than giving things that are notes with just writing things in. Or how do you take a Google Doc that you sign and be able to, you know, that you used to write on? So I give them a PowerPoint presentation, a slides presentation, and they have to take these notes and they have to put them into their different locations. So, so like this one, they would take all those boxes and they'd put them in there, and then I would show them the key. And they only have, are you hearing this dog bark? Sorry about that. So they would have this key, and then I have different charts that, you know, a table that they could put stuff in. And then I have something like this, and I'd say, okay, so we're talking about autotrophs. So connect these different kinds of organisms to whether they're an autotroph or a heterotroph. And then I'd have a key for it. And they wouldn't get all of these slides. They'd just get the first slides of these, organize all of these into, you know, producer, omnivore, carnivore. So have them work in a group, put them in a breakout room and have them work together to do something like that. So this is a way that I like to keep them interested, keep them involved while it's going on, kind of move up Bloom's taxonomy a little bit and keep them working, you know, to organize and to analyze rather than just, you know, memorize. So
absolutely. And they can do that independently and even bring it back to, I mean, they could bring, like you said, in the group work and bring it back.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they can, you know, they do that with, I use Google or I use Nearpod, and I sort of use Nearpods to try to create things that they can do on their own. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Like for instance, I made a study guide here. And this would be, if I blow this all the way up. So this would be something that the students would get. And I can do this right in Google Slides. And so this was a study guide for one of our tests, our line, and that we go through some of the information, and then you can throw in little quizzes and they can quiz themselves, little multiple choice questions. And then I put the key at the end so that they could see that they, how they did and did they do all right. But this is a way you can make it much more visual, much more interesting than just like a Google Doc that you're just running through. And they actually get to test themselves and then see how they did while they're going along and learning. So, so that was a quick rundown of some of the ways I try to keep my kids engaged. You never know what's going to work, to be honest. So, we just try to keep it interesting. I'm never afraid to try something and fail. If it doesn't work, I'll scrap it and do something else. So.
Yeah, I love it. Those are great ideas. So as we close, Craig, this is my new closing question for these. And that is when all things return to face-to-face and the way, is there anything you've learned and you're doing that you're going to keep doing?
That's a good question. I did Classcraft before the pandemic, and I'll do it again after if I can. I like the question of the day thing, I think is a really good one. So I think we'll probably, I don't know that we'll ever go back to straight up just pen and paper all the time, right? So I'll probably always have something in Google Classroom. We're going to start hybrid next week, but half the kids are going to be, 2/3 of the kids will be online every day anyway. So I'll have to use the laptops and Classroom as it is. So I'll probably do a lot of checking in with them just on that and continue that kind of question every day. And circles, we were doing circles before all this started. So that's kind of what it is. It's just an extension of a quick circle.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to watch how I'm starting to think about the long-term impacts on positive impacts on our instruction, how our toolbox kind of expanded in ways and having that perfect blend. Thank you, Craig. This has been great. Folks, please look, there's a top 10 list and we will have links to all of the tools that Craig talked about and even more for engagement and maybe some specific science kinds of things as well, since he was talking about a lot of science. Craig, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thanks.